What's going on, everybody? I got a video that I did not want to make today. So if you read the title right on the thumbnail, the 5th gen Altima, the source of a lot of content on this channel, is dead, guys. And probably not why you think. Nothing mechanically related at all. No, the CVT did not take this car out. Somebody else did. Some idiot rear-ended this poor thing, and as you can see, she is beyond totaled, and for multiple reasons. It's got some wrinkles here. It's going to be really hard to pick up, especially because it's a white car. Couple wrinkles here in the quarter. You can definitely see down here. I might be able to get an angle where you can see it, but definitely wrinkled there. So quarter wrinkled, trunk pan gone, done for. Obviously bumper, obviously the deck lid as well. So yeah, guys, she is 100% a goner, unfortunately. So this car was actually killed by somebody else, and it's amazing that an accident took it out before the notorious bad CVT. So not that the CVTs don't have a plague, but in my experience with this car, it's actually running just as good as it was brand new, which is, you know, I think, in my opinion, mainly just from maintaining it, and it wasn't aggressively driven, as this has been my girlfriend's car since new. So this is a 2014 2.5 SL. All right, was purchased in the beginning of 2014, brand new, original owner, and it's been maintained by me since day one. So this car has made it 10 years, 250,000 miles, with not many issues. And I'm going to review that just to give my overall final thoughts on this car and what's been wrong with it and what we've gone through and our experiences with it, so I can just be open and honest, and you can get a full opinion from, you know, a standpoint of a car that was taken care of. I think that's half of the battle with many cars on the road these days, is that they're just not taken care of. People skip oil changes, they don't, you know, rotate tires, they're slamming on the brakes, they're driving aggressively. I mean, there's just a lot of factors that all add up and turn a car into a, you know, clapped out POS, just to be honest. So this honestly is not one of those examples. And like I said, this is a 10-year-old 250,000 mile car. So if we're looking at it, in my opinion, it's pretty clean. I'll give you guys the overview. I actually have the overview of this car on my first review, which was at about 140K. But car is extremely clean, and it's very sad that this has happened to it, because it was very well maintained, regularly detailed by me, just super clean. The biggest issue with this, which I actually did fix and had it successfully fixed, it just didn't last, is tearing in this front seat. So that's my biggest complaint, I guess, is this, you know, leather here on the corner of this seat has been slowly peeling since probably about 125K. So, you know, about half the mileage ago this started, and this is where it's at now. I did repair it, as I mentioned, twice. Came out amazing. The repair looked amazing. It just did not hold up. So I work at a dealer now, and I was going to have a professional interior repair guy fix this, but unfortunately I never got to that. So it would have been nice to see that happen and see what it would have done and how long it would have lasted, but just never made it to that point. And it's really just from my girlfriend sitting really close, pressing her leg up, because she sits all the way up. But other than that, guys, interior is super clean. All right, just overall really good condition. See if I can get you guys a mileage shot there. There you go, 248, 397, so about 250K. All right, so everything works. You know, we'll go ahead and start her up. Still fires right up. You know what I mean? We got no lights on the dash. Really good experiences as far as that's gone as well with this car, as far as check engine lights. Really hasn't come on for many things at all, maybe 3, 4 at the most it's ever come on. So, but overall, guys, you can see everything works. Just overall really sad to see. Put it in gear. She does drive. She just doesn't have an ass end anymore. So car runs and drives, guys. Everything is fine. It just got rear-ended, man, and it unfortunately is a total loss. I mean, I knew it just by, if just this issue, was just that, no quarter panel damage, or if it was just quarter panel damage and not that, either one would have took the car out anyway, just one of those points of damage. So the fact that it has both, I mean, we know it was a total loss. And how insurance really is doing it this day is they use a third-party company that compares pricing of the exact same car in your area, and they kind of base their pricing off that, which is, you know, it's pretty unfair, because I would go out on a limb and say there's not many 250,000 mile Altimas in this condition that are 10 years old. Like, let's be honest, this thing is in great shape for its age and mileage. So I mean, that's when you got a one-off car like this that was well maintained, taken care of, and actually looks the part, it's a little bit disappointing, because, you know, really got lowballed. And the insurance adjuster, he did try, put pretty much everything in exceptional condition on the report, but still, like, you know, we got 45, not even 4,400 for the car as a total loss. So somebody can come rear-end your car that's perfectly fine, in great condition, and take you off the road, and they give you $4,500 to what? Go buy a Ford Taurus? Like, what are you really going to buy in this reliable, in this shape, for $4,500? So it's pretty wild, man. But that's, you know, it's a whole nother conversation as far as insurance and all the BS that goes along with that. But we'll get back into the car. I'll go over a little bit more as far as the review of this and just some of the things that have been done, just as a final review, final thoughts on the car. And, you know, we'll take it from there, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop the hood, and then we'll go ahead and check under there, and we'll start talking about what's been done to this thing. All right, guys, under the hood, and as we can see, it's virtually just as clean under here as it is on the rest of the car. The really only issue body wise, I would say, with this car is this front bumper. Unfortunately, it was hit in a parking lot. Somebody hit her in a parking lot prior. It didn't total the car, but it messed the fender up, headlight, and the bumper. And the body shop that did it actually has done really good work for me in the past, but they are now out of business, and this is why, because they started doing crappy work when they finished off right before they you know, whatever they did, went out of business, and all the clear coat's peeling off of that bumper. So that is something that's pretty unfortunate. This bumper is definitely seen better days, as a clear coat has completely failed, but that is no fault to the car. That's just shitty body work that unfortunately has phased this car and kind of took away some of its original cleanliness that it did have before it was hit. And that's another thing, goes to show, hey, you get your car done at a legit shop, and look what happens. You could still take an L on it, guys. So this car unfortunately just turned into one big L, but everything that's been done to this car, I might miss something, but I'm going to try my best. So mostly everything that's been done to this car is on the channel, so you can see what's, you know, been done to it just by looking at my videos for the 5th gen Altima. So, you know, that's a good insight as what's been done. But we've done 2 VVT solenoids. All right, so we've done 2 of those. It's had a replacement alternator. That's actually an alternator from a 2017 Altima. That is an OE alternator. And I really didn't even need to do that. It was more because it was making noise, not because it was actually failing electronically. Battery, of course, I did get a new ground terminal because I wanted just, you know, a fresh start with that at one point. So that's an OEM new ground terminal. Of course, it's had an air filter. CVT fluid been changed virtually every 30,000 miles after the initial one at 100 that I did. Valve cover was done. Valve cover gasket was done around 200K. Regular oil changes every 5K. The whole AC system has been overhauled. So, you know, had new compressor, condenser, whole video for that's on the channel. So that was still kicking perfectly fine to the day this car died, and we are in December of 2024. And if we're just looking at other things here, like this mount is original, it's still in good shape. You know, a lot of original stuff. PS system is all original. You know, exhaust, cats, all original. I should have maybe took this off, as I did kind of disassemble it a little bit for my original review at 140K, but you know, overall, I think you can pretty much get a general idea that it's in the same condition it was over 100,000 miles ago. So, you know, still clean. There's not a drop of anything leaking from the transmission, from the motor. Everything is bone dry. Obviously, it's going to be kind of hard to tell, but you know, it is bone dry everywhere, not leaking a drop anywhere. So this motor essentially made it to 250,000 miles without leaking anything but a valve cover gasket. That is it. super impressive. I think these QR motors are definitely on point. And you know, if you maintain them, they can outlive you, man. It's the CVT, I get it's a little sketchy, you know, but with some maintenance, this car has proved that, you know, it's not always a plague. It can still, you know, make it to 250K. And what actually killed the car was somebody else, not the motor, not the transmission. It was somebody else who killed the car. So overall, guys, really have nothing but good things to say about the reliability side of this vehicle. I also did do a crank sensor on this, and the only reason that crank sensor went bad, it was from when the AC system went bad. So what happened was the belt froze, and from forcing it to try to start so many times, my girl was trying to leave work when she was trying to figure out what was going on, it basically made the crank sensor go bad. So that was, it did fail, but I honestly really don't think it was a full fault to the car. It was because it was just it was attempted to be started so many times that it did something to it, but it just couldn't fully turn over because the belt was locked. So it caused the crank sensor to go bad. So that was another thing that was replaced. So there isn't too many things that have been replaced since the original video. And you know, like I said, pretty much everything that has been done is on the channel and has been reviewed on a separate video with the how-to. Of course, the brakes and rotors have been done quite a few times. That's just regular maintenance. But as far as parts failing, not much. For a 250,000 mile car, it's blown me away, to be honest. I'm just extremely impressed with, you know, as long as you do your regular maintenance, oil changes, CVT fluid changes, any other fluids here and there, and drive it like a normal person, not like the Altima memes that they've become today. You know, you don't gotta get in here and think it's a Hellcat or a Lambo. It is an Altima that's like 150 horsepower to the wheels probably at the end of the day if you dyno this thing. So it is no need to drive one of these aggressively like you about to go take over the world on one of these things, because it is just the Altima, guys. So keep that in mind when you're out there driving these things. You know what I mean? You don't got to go out there and prove a point in your Altima, I promise. So drive it normally and I think it'll take care of you. So overall, my final thoughts on this car, I am honestly heartbroken that this happened to it. My girl was heartbroken about it. She did get something the next day. We got her a new car, brand new. I think it's a really good replacement. But you know, I will miss this thing from a content standpoint, from a reliability standpoint. I really never had any worries about her driving, you know, 50 miles each way to work every day in it. I knew it was going to do the job. I knew the condition it was in. I knew how it was taken care of, and I saw it holding up. So overall, I had a lot of faith in the vehicle, and it did its job, and it made it to 250K without many issues. And honestly, I can't say anything bad about the car, really. I mean, it's done its job, and it's probably would have made it to 350 if I'm being honest. And I would have loved to have seen that for it. Now, one thing, I don't want this to be the end of Altima content on the channel. So I do still do work regularly on vehicles, so I'm sure they will pop up here and there. And you know, I would definitely be happy to continue all the content that I can supporting this chassis, because it is an amazing platform that really, for just if you just want a regular daily driver car to get you from point A to point B when you're not trying to make a statement, then this is a really good option. It really is. You know, buying one now 10 years later when the recording of this video is being made, I don't know, it's a little bit more sketchy than if you bought it new and maintained it. Because I mean, now 10 years in, you don't know what maintenance has been done to these cars, and you know what kind of life it's had in that 10 years, and that can seriously affect the outcome and longevity in the life of the vehicle. So as of now, if you're buying one of these used, I don't know, it's a little hard to say. If you found one low miles, maybe 30-40K, maybe even 50, then that might be a good buy, because you can really take over the maintenance at that point and make that car have the life that it deserved and preserve it, kind of how I did with this. So hope everybody enjoyed all the content that I had with this, and you know, hopefully we can continue the Altima content. It's a shame it's not going to be on this particular car. It was a great subject for a lot of different things. One thing I did forget to mention about this car that I did have a problem with it, that was probably my biggest complaint, is now that I'm thinking about, is it was leaking water. You know, I did have the sunroof drains and a couple other leaks, and it was making the carpets wet. So that was really a crappy problem to encounter. I did fix it. We can check it out. They're still dry to this day, bone dry. All right, so no issues with leaking, but that was a problem, and I got the how-to and how I fixed it and reviewed everything on the channel. So you can see we got no water, guys, dry as a bone. But yeah, that was definitely something that I was not a fan of. So the fact that that happened was probably my only real complaint with the entire vehicle, that it was taking on water from drain issues, basically, is what they all came down to. But you can check out that video on the channel. I have a whole 5th gen playlist on the channel that you can go through, and that video is definitely a part of it. So that is something I forgot to initially mention when we were talking about everything I've done to this car, so I did have to do that. So other than that, not a bad car, guys. And you know, that's my personal experience with it. But like I said, this has been a well-maintained vehicle since day one, and it showed by lasting as long as it did. So sorry to bring the bad news, but she is going out probably in the next few days. Copart is coming to pick it up, and I'll probably keep the VIN and try to see if I can follow this car and see if maybe if it gets a second chance at life. I would really love to see that happen for it. But other than that, she is going to be out of our possession, and she'll no longer be on the channel, guys, unfortunately. So hope you guys enjoyed all the Altima content that I've had with this thing, and everybody say their farewells, because I know she's helped a lot of people just by me going through the little issues that it's had with you guys on camera, guys. So until next time.